Small Stories from Life Part 16. Here is the first story, Don't Give Up on Your Dreams. There was a person who wanted to study medicine but was hesitant and couldn't decide, so he asked his friend, I'm 40 years old now, it took me 6 years to study medicine, I'm 46 years old, do you think I should study medicine? The friend immediately replied, yes, even if I don't study medicine, I'll still be 46 years old in 6 years. The friend's words made him realize and he registered to study the next morning. The lesson learned is that many of us are always full of dreams, aspirations and plans, but how many people dare to make them come true so that their days don't pass in vain? Time doesn't wait for anyone, live each day to the fullest. Thank you for listening.
Followed by the second story, The Way to Heaven. A priest visited a small town and asked a boy, can you show me the way to the post office? The boy showed him the way enthusiastically. When they got there, the priest patted the boy's head. Thank you very much. Come see me at church this Sunday and I will tell you the way to heaven. The boy replied, if you don't even know the way to the post office, how can you know the way to heaven? The lesson is that if we want to be trusted by others, we must first improve ourselves. Only then will we have the opportunity to prove our abilities when needed. Thank you for listening.
Followed by the third story, Not Knocked Down. After unloading the cargo at the dock, the small ship weighed anchor and set sail for home. In the middle of the vast ocean, a huge storm arose. The captain ordered the ship's hold to be opened to let water in. The sailors heard this and worriedly asked, if water is allowed to flow in, won't the ship sink? The captain calmly replied, have you ever seen a tree with large roots that was knocked down by the storm? Only trees with short roots are knocked down by the storm. The sailors were skeptical but still followed the captain's orders. When they saw that there was enough water in the hold, the captain ordered the hold to be closed. Sure enough, even though the storm was fierce, the ship remained stable. When the sea and waves were calm, the captain slowly explained that only empty barrels were easily blown over by the wind. If the barrel was full of water, no matter how strong the wind blew, it would not fall over when the cargo had been unloaded onto the ship. Just like an empty barrel could be knocked down by the wind at any time, when water was put into the hold, there was a certain load and the ship would be stable. The lesson is that people are like ships. Only when we have a purpose in life can we be steadfast and resilient against the storm. Those who let their lives be empty will easily be knocked down by the storm. Thank you for listening.
Followed by the fourth story, The Empty Cup. A student followed a famous master to learn the way. Although he was kindly taught by the master for a long time, he still did not progress. One day, the master held a teapot and poured tea into the cup in front of the student. The cup was full, but the master kept pouring. The student patiently sat and watched, but finally had to explain, Master, please stop pouring. A full cup of tea cannot hold more water. At this point, the master stopped pouring and calmly replied that a full cup of tea cannot hold more water. Just like you, if you want to learn more good things, you should first empty the cup of tea in your heart. You must get rid of negative thoughts from the past, then you can absorb many new and good things. The lesson learned is that if you want to learn new things, turn yourself into an empty cup. The bigger the empty part, the more you can learn. On the contrary, if you think you already understand everything, like a full cup, you cannot absorb new knowledge. Thanks for listening.
Followed by the fifth story, Dream Interpretation. A scholar went to take an exam. 2 days before the exam, he had 3 strange dreams. In the first dream, he saw himself planting cabbage on the wall of his house. In the second dream, he saw himself changing his hat and holding an umbrella while standing in the rain. In the third dream, he saw himself lying in bed with the girl he loved, but they had their backs turned to each other. The next morning, he hurried to find a fortune teller to interpret his dream. After listening to him recount his 3 dreams, the fortune teller immediately said that he should give up the exam and go back to his hometown. He thought about it. Wasn't it a waste of time to plant cabbage on the wall? Wasn't it a waste of time to hold an umbrella to keep out the rain and also wear a hat? Wasn't it a waste of time to lie in bed with a girl with their backs turned to each other? Hearing this, the scholar was extremely disappointed and had to dejectedly return to his rented room to pack his things and go back to his hometown. The landlord saw this and asked him why he was returning to his hometown now that the exam day was so close. The scholar told the story to the landlord. The landlord burst out laughing and said, "I also know how to interpret dreams. I think the fortune teller was wrong. You must stay to take the exam. Growing vegetables on the wall is not an extraordinary thing like a fish jumping over the dragon gate. Wearing a hat and holding an umbrella, it means that you have prepared very carefully for this exam. Lying with your back to a girl, that means that if you turn around, the two of you will meet each other. Do you think it is true?" The scholar saw that the landlord was right, so he confidently stayed to take the exam. As a result, he passed that year. The lesson learned is that attitude determines the quality of life as well as our success or failure. To have a good life, first you must believe that you deserve to receive good things. Positive thinking will contribute to helping you achieve success. Here we would like to end this story. Thanks for listening. Hello and see you again in Small Stories of Life Part 17.